Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Today I'm predicting the 2022 governor elections. Yes, I know we're back at it again in these midterm thingies. Well, first of all, big news. The Roe v. Wade decision has just been overturned. Very big news. Roe v. Wade has been overturned. What is my change in prediction? None. No change. Roe v. Wade does not affect the midterms. Sorry. No blue wave coming all of a sudden. That is the news. Oh, and also Ohio primaries just happened. J.D. Vance destroyed it, and so did Mike DeWine. We already knew Tim Ryan and Nan Whaley would get it, so let's get down to business. Let's put in the safe Democratic states in the governor elections. These are safe in in margin, not in margins, not in probability. Those are about all the safe states for the Democrats. As I said, this means that these are the only states that will be above 15%. Now it's time for the safe red states. Here we go now. All of the regular states except for Kansas, because it has an incumbent Democrat. New Hampshire, Vermont, traditionally blue states, except for New Hampshire, blue-leaning state, but their governors are extremely popular there, and we don't need further discussion. As we know, Phil Scott and Chris Sununu will win re-election without much opposition. The Democrats don't even have that much of a candidate there. Continuing on with the red safe states, seems to be about it. So already the Republicans are at 20, 6 away. Democrats are at 10. Okay, now time for the likely Democrats. Oregon's governor elections are always likely. New York, Kathy Hochul is very unpopular, but not so much that it would be competitive, just maybe around 12%. Rhode Island and Connecticut, they're in a similar position of New York and Oregon. Their governors have like a somewhat approval rating, and since it's the governor elections, the Republicans tend to do better there because of the local aspect of the election, which will make it likely. Again, these will not be competitive states. They are just under 15%. Illinois, again, same thing with New York. That is about it. Yep. No, Colorado is likely as well. Jared Polis is a very popular governor there. I don't expect Republicans to put much of a challenge towards him. Those are okay. Now it's time for the Republican likely states. So we have Texas. Texas, we know, because Greg Abbott is a pretty strong candidate. Betty O'Rourke is a pretty weak candidate, all things considered. Now that we've went over Texas, let's go over Florida. Ron DeSantis, very strong incumbent. No need to further explain that Florida is a traditional swing state, but because of Ron DeSantis' strong incumbency and quite a few weak challengers from the Democratic Party, Florida is going likely red. Ohio. Mike DeWine, very good campaigner. Nan Whaley, I believe, lacks name recognition in the state. Mike DeWine has a lot of accomplishments to run on, and he will get some crossover support from Democrats. Now, Iowa. Iowa is in a similar position to Ohio. Kim Reynolds will probably just win because of the national environment and how red Iowa is. Democrats don't have a strong challenger, I believe. Let me quickly check. Iowa governor. And even if they do have a strong challenger, they don't have, it won't matter. Republicans have all been back, and then there's one candidate, Deidre DeGear, who has no name recognition whatsoever, a businesswoman, doesn't even have their own Wikipedia page, as you can see, and they're the presumptive nominee. Okay, yeah. As I said, not looking good for them. Okay, now it's time to go into the lean states, our favorite time. But quick note, Republicans are at 24, just with likely and safe states. This puts them 2 away from capturing the majority. Maine is going to be tilt Democrat. I think Janet Mills will win, mainly on just Maine itself. What I mean by that is Paul LePage's rhetoric has gotten harsher, and while Maine may be trending to the right, I don't think it would be at such a speed that it would be able to flip this governor election. However, it is very close, and the GOP needs to invest there. It is going to be a key race. Most people aren't looking at Maine. Maine is going to be a key race they need to look at. Okay, now at Pennsylvania. Lau Berletta is a pretty strong candidate. Josh Shapiro is okay. He's actually a pretty good candidate, but the national environment is not good for him. Michigan is going to be really close, but I think we will barely see the Republican James Cox beat the Democrat there, Gretchen Whitmer, mainly on the national environment and Whitmer's unpopularity, and the advantage that Cox brings to the table is he doesn't have much baggage. Now Wisconsin. Wisconsin is lean. Tony Evers is a really weak incumbent. It went 0.6% to Biden, and the national environment is going to lock this race up. So now Minnesota. Lean Democrat is my rating for this. Their incumbent isn't very strong, but Minnesota's just not ready to flip. Georgia. And Republicans don't have that strong of a candidate. Georgia's going to be lean red. We saw Stacey Abrams lose to Brian Kemp in a blue wave year at a time Georgia was rapidly trending to the left, but now the situation is actually quite reversed. Brian Kemp is a favorable incumbent. He won't be married by David Perdue. And it's no longer blue wave year, it's a red wave year. All things considered, he will win his race. Kansas will be lean, mainly because of how red it is at a national level and the national environment. Now New Mexico. New Mexico is going to be a bare Republican victory, and here's why. It is going to be very close because Mark Ronchetti, very strong candidate, but the person he's facing, Michelle Grisham, has had a few scandals and an unfavorable track record. I think Republicans can really pick this up. This is going to be a key race that they should invest in, both Republicans and Democrats. All tilt states are going to be the state races that all these parties need to invest in. Arizona, where I'm going to see lean. Katie Hobbs is actually a pretty good candidate. Carrie Lake is from Arizona and has the backing. It's a red national favorable environment, and that's what I think will lead Carrie Lake to victory. Nevada, I'm actually going to put. This is going to surprise a lot of people. I'm going to put Nevada as tilt D. I had it earlier as tilt R, but here's the reason the rating changed. Republicans don't have that good of a challenger. Steve Sisolak actually has a pretty good approval rating in the state. And all of these factors add up that it will be tilt Democrat. As of now, that could definitely change if the national environment gets worse. But I do think, however, Nevada's Senate is going red. Because in Nevada, let's take a quick look at Nevada's governor election. So, Nevada governors, let's take a look. We're here. We have Steve Sisolak. They've united around him. We know the man. Okay, now we have this. Joey Gilbert, Dean Heller, Joe Lombardo. We know Joe Lombardo is most likely going to be the nominee. He's ahead in almost every poll. So when Joe Lombardo becomes the nominee, how much name recognition does he actually have? That is what I'm going to find very interesting. I don't think I have enough information on this Nevada governor race that I can make a clear decision right here. I think many people are ignoring the aspects and they're just thinking that Nevada will be carried because of the national environment. But Steve Sisolak has an above 50% approval rating, and their candidate, Sheriff Joe Lombardo, is not exactly the best. But what I'm saying here is that it could definitely go tilt red. In fact, I think it's very likely, actually, that later on, as the situation starts to transpire, once the campaign gets going, that the Nevada rating will change. Thank you for watching this video. Like and subscribe. We need those subscribers. We're so close to 300. That would be amazing if we could get there by the end of this week. Let's go.